What's up, nerds? It's your boy. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's the 14th day of February 2023, which means it's Valentine's Day, which is either the best holiday or the worst holiday, depending upon your point of view. For me, yuck. But whatever. I got Steve. He's my Valentine's, right? Okay, so it's time for our second look at the first playtest for Project Black Flag from our friends over at Kobold Press. We're doing this chunk by chunk. I don't want to waste a lot of time going, through the whole thing. So I'm cutting it up into little bitty pieces. And today we're looking at the second chunk, which is backgrounds. And I like backgrounds. Backgrounds were a good addition to the game in general. I don't remember where or when they first popped up. I think they were in fourth. They weren't really in third. But it's not an unusual idea. Other games have used them. It's just a way to get a few extra skills and maybe some stuff. 5e really made backgrounds important, though, I felt, or not, because it gave you not only some starting gear, some starting skills, but it gave you ideas for motivations for your characters. You had a list of motivations you could roll on randomly or pick that really helped, sort of refine who the character was before they started adventuring. So you didn't need these 608-page backstories for your character to, explain to the DM how you think the world should work for your characters. No, my character was a farmer. This is what they did. Bam. So we're already getting some responses to the first round of the playtest, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. It's unoriginal. It's nothing I haven't seen before. It's nothing I really like, nothing I really dislike. I was expecting something else. It's just another fantasy Avengers. It's fantasy superheroes. It's not really D&D. How is this different than 5e? How is this different than Level Up 5e? How is this different than Pathfinder 2nd Edition? Because you've changed a few names and maybe you figgled some things, but really it's just kind of more of the same. And my response to the first chunk, looking at the heritages and the ancestries and everything, was like, yeah, this is not new. There's a few things that I kind of liked in there, but basically, again, it just feels the same. It's nothing I haven't already seen in 5e. It's nothing I haven't already seen in Level Up Advanced 5e. It's nothing I haven't seen in some of the other 5e retro clones. And again, it just sort of feels more like fantasy Avengers than Dungeons and Dragons, just anime fantasy as opposed to D&D. So let's look at the backgrounds to see if they help us or hinder us. And I already had a chance to look at these ones, and I did find some interesting editing choices that probably don't really count for a complaint, but just for more or less like, yeah, whatever. So backgrounds are split up into free skills, free languages or proficiencies, free gear, a talent. So, every background starts with a talent or a feat. This is something 5e is adding to their backgrounds. I don't know if this is original idea or they're just borrowing it from something else. I don't have enough experience with Level Up 5e. I am reading the review that the guy who wrote Level Up 5e is of Project Black Flag. So he has a very interesting insight about how much of this is the same to Level Up 5e and how they just sort of took stuff that he already did and just sort of changed a few names. So that's kind of cool that, he's still trying to remain, not impartial in reading his review, but he's like, yeah, this is kind of just my game and you just changed a few names. So here we go. Background number 1, scholar, because alphabetization. You are enrolled in an institution of learning or apprenticed to a distinguished sage. You have spent many years researching a particular branch or study, like, I don't know, herbology or farming, because scholars were big in fantasy medieval. You were probably one of the few people who knew how to read. Yeah. And then for some reason you graduated from your scholarly and decided to go off on adventuring, because nothing says tenured professor in theoretical physics like going into a dungeon and getting killed by a beholder. Yeah. Way to spend those 16 years in school. Your parents must be proud. All right. So your freebies are, you get to choose 2 of the following skills: Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. You get to learn 2 additional languages of your choice or gain a proficiency with one type of tool or vehicle relevant to your field of study. Okay, so I was a scholar in herbalism. So I guess I could take nature and religion. I don't know. Would like to see some more skill proficiencies. And then I could take 2 additional languages or a free proficiency tool. What would be a free proficiency tool for an herbalist? Little teeny scissors? No, I'd probably take the languages. And then I get as my free equipment a bottle of ink, a quill, a small knife, a reference book on a highly specific subject of your choice, a set of common clothes, and some free money. And I get a following talent. I get to choose from polyglot, which is the ability to speak a lot of languages, school specialization, or trade skills. School specialization, I'm guessing, is magic, and trade skills for talent, I guess, means I can buy and sell things at a better rate of exchange. We'll find out when we get to the talent section. What is my motivation for adventuring? I don't know. I mean, you're a tenured professor. The university is going to pay you to stick around. So the only reason to adventure is to get stuff you can't get your hands on, or, maybe you've discovered some secret or whatever. But they give you 8 possible motivations. You need supplies, and supplies cost money, and I can't get funding, so I'm going to go out and make my own money. Adventuring allows me to gain field experience relevant to my field of study. Adventuring is a way to actually experience and see the things I've read in books. Adventuring away is a way to make ends meet until I can prove the validity of my research. That really, anything, if any teacher or any tenured professor, it's publish or perish, and you're only as good as your last paper. And, every year when the university is looking on whose contract to renew, you're scrambling to get that support. So any adventuring hook for a scholar to try and get more money to support their research kind of makes sense. So, yeah. Next one, we have the soldier. All right. As a soldier, my skill proficiencies, I get 2 from the following: animal handling, athletics, medicine, or survival. Okay. Additional proficiencies: gain proficiency with land or water vehicles and 1 tool of your choice. I guess if you're a soldier in the Navy, you could take vehicle water. And if you're a soldier on the land, I guess chariot or wagon, or I don't know, ballista. You get a symbol of your rank, a mess kit, a pack of playing cards, or a set of dice, a set of common clothes, and some free money. As a soldier, you get to choose from one of the following talents: armor training, combat casting, or combat conditioning. So armor training, okay, you can wear a wider variety of armor than the initial, class gives you. Or let's say you take soldier background and a class that normally doesn't get armor training, or better choices of armor. So then you can mix and match. Combat casting, so we've got, military wizards, and combat conditioning. I don't know. I'm going to assume it means you're healthier or whatever. And then we have the soldier's motivation. Adventuring is a way to support myself. Adventuring is a way to continue fighting, because it's all I know. Adventuring is a way to keep protecting others, since those I used to protect are now gone. Adventuring is a way to employ my skills and make some money off of them. Adventuring is a way to perform special missions for those I serve. Adventuring is a way to take justice into my own hands. Adventuring is a return to action I've craved since my retirement. Adventuring is a way to get better at what I did before. Relatively, innocuous backgrounds for a soldier. Probably the number one, reason for a soldier would go out and adventuring is either boredom, I don't know what to do with these skills, it's all I know, or I need money. And I've got these skills. I've got a sword. And then that's it. It goes right to talents. But since there's no real break, when I was reading this, I thought this was a third option. And I was like, well, oh, no, wait, you just went straight to talents. Talents seems to be the largest of this, but not really, because it's only 2 pages. So we'll go over those in the next one, because I don't want to make these too long. and we've already gotten, to the end. So Scholar and Soldier. Obviously, I want to see a lot of backgrounds, and I want to see backgrounds that make sense. I want to see, farmer, blacksmith, woodcutter, scribe, lay priest, cow herder, gypsy. I want to see real world backgrounds. I don't want to see just backgrounds that are mini versions of classes that already exist. Soldier is mini fighter. Scholar is mini cleric, without the spell casting, but I can take a talent that gets me spell casting. So this is where I'm going to really, one of the areas I'm really going to judge on this game, besides the classes, is the backgrounds, because I want to see more backgrounds that make it feel like a living, breathing world, not just fantasy Avengers like 5e is. And all the backgrounds in 5e just let you sort of pad a character to do things you couldn't do. Like, I want to have a few crime skills, but I'm a cleric, so I take the criminal background. So I really want to see more real worldish fantasy medieval backgrounds that would really exist in a working, living, breathing D&D world. Not everybody is going to be a specialist in combat. 90% of the rank and file are going to be farmers and pig herders and ranchers and innkeepers and third born son and displaced nobles and stuff like that. And why is their motivation for leaving and going out to adventuring? It's one of the things I like about DCC and games like that is it gives you so many backgrounds. And then the idea of like the funnel, where you start with these 0 level farmers and just, apprentices and everyday people who are forced in a situation to become adventurers. That's something I want to see more of. That feels more like D&D as opposed to the fantasy medieval superheroes that 5e is. Because, D&D for me, for most of the years that I played, was I'm just a guy who is now in a position where I have to go do things. But yesterday I was a farmer. Yesterday I was a sage. Yesterday I'm an out of work soldier. Now I got to go fight off bandits, and those bandits are leading me to something else. And then slowly the progression of the building of the evolution of kid with stick to spell casting marvel. So I want to see definitely backgrounds is the section I'm going to be most looking at, or one of the sections. And talents is probably the other one. And we'll go over talents in the next production of this. So if you appreciate me looking at this, let me know. If you've picked up the playtest, it's free. Just go to the Kobold Press website, link down below, and ask to receive a copy. And you'll get it in the email probably later today or tomorrow. And the survey results you can do till the end of this month. And then we'll get the next one next month. And as again, the general response so far that I'm seeing from people who have already had a chance to go through it is pretty much the same as what I'm saying. So yeah, if you want to be the legitimate pathfinder to 5e D&D, if you really want to offer a better competitive version than what we already have, then you really need to be a better, more competitive, more well-rounded version than what we already have. Because right now I'm not seeing a lot of differences. Sorry, Project Black Flag. I'm not impressed. I'm not unimpressed. It just feels kind of lazy, like you just copied and pasted and rewrote a few things. Not that that's a bad thing, but there's so much potential with the 5e engine that never got embraced. So you either need to dive in and take advantage of what the 5e engine is supposed to be and how ridiculously it can get. And that, that, like I say, 5e, Hawk the Slayer is the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons movie, which is fantasy superheroes, which is fine if you want to do fantasy superheroes, but then make this fantasy superheroes and really delve into all the ridiculous awesomeness that you can do with 5e. But if you want to be Dungeons and Dragons 5e, if you want to use the 5e engine but present a more rounded, in-depth Dungeons and Dragons experience, then you have to do the exact opposite. You have to take the 5e engine and use it to make a living, breathing, believable fantasy medieval world where farmers and ranchers and scribes and villagers have suddenly this impulse or need to go off an adventure, but they're not superheroes. So that's the big thing I would be looking forward to. And that's it. If you appreciate this, please let me know. If you don't appreciate this and don't want to see me go through the rest of this, let me know. If you haven't picked up a copy of your own, it's free. Link down below. Please like, please share, please subscribe. Please consider supporting the OGGM adventures. Use the links down below to go to Big Geek Emporium and pick up my merch, or use the links down below to get yourself a box of Korean snacks and get 5% off. So another way you could support me is to use my affiliate sponsor for the month and get yourself some nummy Korean snacks. Link down below, and link down below. Please like, please share, please subscribe, please have a great day, and please get off my land, you damn kids.